for another edition of News 360 on TV3, also live on DSTV, channel 279. My name is Grace Hamwa Jaman.
Good evening, I am Noble Crosbyan, and these are the headlines of the Bulletin tonight.
News 360 Headlines is brought to you by
Flamingo Paint,
Pepsodent Charcoal and Pepsodent Herbal,
EcoBank.
Tonight, Minister of Gender, Children and Social Protection calls for suspension of intended demolition of the 31st December Makola Market A and B in Accra on Monday, May 18.
Also in the bulletin, the story of life inside the intensive care units where split-second decisions mean the difference between life and death.
Ghana Navy rescues 7 suspected stowaways from the rudder trunk of a Belgian-registered crude oil tanker.
And later on the international front, Nigeria and the United States say they have killed a senior Islamic State leader in a joint operation. We have sports, entertainment and more in the next 60 minutes if you join us.
Let's begin the bulletin from here. The Minister for Gender, Children and Social Protection, Agnes Namumulati, has called for the suspension of the intended demolition of the 31st December Makola Market A and B in Accra on Monday, May 18. Now, the demolition expected to be carried out by the Accra Metropolitan Assembly. It is to make way for the redevelopment of the market. My colleague Joseph Armstrong Gold has more in this report.
Traders at the 31st December Makola Market A and B in Accra on Friday, May 15, protested plans by the Accra Metropolitan Assembly to relocate them ahead of the planned demolition. They insist no suitable alternative trading space has been provided. According to the traders, the planned exercise threatens their livelihoods, especially as many of them depend solely on the market for survival. They say they have not been given a clear temporary location to continue on their businesses while the redevelopment take place. Interim market manager Ebenezer Broby says the impact of the relocation on businesses is too serious to be handled without broader consultation.
Development comes with some cost, human cost. You see, we have the cost and then we have the benefit. So you balance the two. And our point is that once you have the cost, the human cost of it, you need to mitigate it. That is the term that we use. You need to reduce the discomfort that will come out of the development. Even first and foremost, that is what normal governments do. And this is what is absent.
According to him, more than 1,000 traders operate within the affected space. Some of the traders have vowed not to vacate their shops until the AMA engages them properly and provides a clear, safe and suitable relocation plan.
You think they're treating you like slaves?
Yeah, because we just said and then they come. Come on, look at what. We are not here before they came and do all these things. Yes, we are not here. If we're about to say something, they say we have been here. We have written names. But the names, they write outside. They didn't come here.
So if even they finish, you don't get your place back?
Hey, we got it. We know our possession. They'll supply us before, if they are going to sell the story building, then they should continue. Because if they said they are going to build this place and they give it to another people there, then they want to kill us, we die. You say that after finish, other people will come and occupy the place because they need dollars. They will say we don't have dollars. We have
cities.
Cities, but they will say they need dollars. We have even dollar. I haven't seen something.
On Saturday, the Gender Minister, Children and Social Protection, Agnes Namumulati, visited the market and assured the traders of government intervention.
The market men and women are not against the redevelopment of this place. However, they are looking at how it can be done such that they will not lose their livelihoods. And so that is of concern to the state as well. And so we are going to, once we have the common ground, it's easier to move on from there.
She said the planned demolition should be put on hold until there is further engagement and negotiations with affected traders.
I will not urge the Monday demolition to commence because there are so many things involved from what you are hearing. And it is better we have a clear path to chart and do it peacefully. It might not be the comfort of everyone, but once we get to talk and we have an understanding, we'll be able to commence. And so that is the assurance I have given them.
Meanwhile, the Accra Metropolitan Assembly, led by the Accra Mayor, Nick Pakpo Alothi, says the Assembly duly informed the traders ahead of the exercise. The AMA explains that the relocation forms part of the broader effort to decongest Accra, improve order in trading activities, and pave way for the redevelopment of the market. Joseph Armstrong, Good Alubo TV3, Makola, Accra.
Hopefully, the traders here gets to sell on Monday and beyond as the said demolition has been halted. We'll keep our eye on this development and bring up to speed in our subsequent bulletin. Joseph Armstrong, go.
Let's go to the Volta region, and students of the Volta Technical Institute at Mache in the whole municipality of the region now depend on water from gutters as the school's water system has become dysfunctional. Some students told TV3 News that they have developed skin rashes due to the nature of the water they depend on. Faisal Abdul-Idrisu has more in the story.
This is not a scene any parent expects to see. It is past 7:30 p.m., but these students from the Volta Technical Institute are seen scooping water from the roadside gutters. It was dark and safe, and the water brown. When I asked why, the answer was simple.
From a month now, our water is not flowing on campus. That's why we decided to fetch this water.
So what do you use it for when you fetch it?
Sometimes we use it for gari, sometimes we bath it, sometimes we use it for washing, sometimes we even drink it.
You drink this?
Yes, please.
Why are you fetching this late?
So actually, I didn't go to dining early, so I decided to come and wash over here.
Is this what you people go through every day?
Yeah. Sometimes we'll be going to that place to fetch the big stream over there.
That one is far. How many minutes do you have to walk there?
So, almost 20 minutes.
So after what we saw the night before, we decided to come here today to ascertain the realities on the ground. And so have a look at this. This is not a pond. It is not a stream. Neither is it a river. It is just stagnant water from the gutters. And that is what the students here are depending on, particularly the boys. The Volta Technical Institute has battled water shortage since it was established. In 2025, the Community Water and Sanitation Agency installed a mechanized water system, raising hopes that the crisis was over. But for these students, nothing has changed for a school with over 600 student population.
We have 3 components of pipes that have been working on this campus, and 2 of them are not functioning well. So we've been suffering for fetching water. So it's only one source that is coming. That's why we see most of the boys going for water at the gutters.
When the water is not coming, maybe for a month or going, sometimes I have to bring bath, buy pure water and bath. It comes twice in a month. When the day that it's not coming, that means you have to walk far distance to the spring to get water. Before coming back, sometimes we'll be late for class, which affects academics.
Some students complain they have developed skin rashes, having depended on the untreated water from the gutters.
After bathing, there is small particles like earthworms and tiny frogs in the water, like frogs. It's like your body will be itching you. I have rashes all over my body because of the water we have been bathing. All my body, I was scratching it, so it will make like there will be a wound at that side. So if you do this, and then it will spoil my body.
Water is not a luxury; it is life, and for these students, their life is being drawn from the gutters. Authorities here decline speaking on this very water issue. The principal of the school insists that he would not be able to speak until he gets approval from the top. Regardless of this, the student insists there's a water challenge that must be resolved. Faisal Abdul-Idrisu, TV3 News, Mache.
Dr. Peter Pate, Antics Executive Director of the Institute for Education Studies, is joining us for a conversation on this. Doc, thank you for your time tonight. We know that these technical institutions, they are meant to train skilled manpower for national development. And here we find students in these institutions drinking from gutter water, just like our reporter told us. What does this say about our investments into education and all that it comes with?
Well, thank you very much, and good evening to your viewers. I think that this is an unfortunate incident. I heard about it in your news I think 2 or 3 days ago, and I really couldn't believe what I was hearing, because I think that the school has got the requisite authorities to deal with this issue. If you are running a technical institution, you are supposed to be responsible, or you're supposed to report to the Ghana TVET service. And as we know, TVET has been inadequately funded over the years. It's in recent times that we have seen some sort of devotion towards technical and vocational education. So some of these things would happen on your campus. You might not have access to good water, electricity, a workshop, and all those things in between. What you're supposed to do as the leader of that particular institution is to channel your challenges to the requisite authorities. I don't know whether he has done that or he's not done that. But if he has not done that, or he has done that and still the relevant authorities are not giving him the appropriate response, then it means that we are not being fair to these innocent students. You see them talking about the kind of diseases and other challenges that they are having because of the lack of water in the school. And I think that the district assembly, the MC or the DC at that place, the MP, should be able to support the school to get a requisite kind of water and other amenities for the students to feel safe in the school. 600 students is no mean a number for them to undergo such kind of treatment, and it clearly indicates that we are not putting a lot of money into skills training, something that we know would be able to deal with the problem of unemployment in our country. And we need to continue to advocate for that.
Right. But what would you recommend, both long-term and short-term solutions to this challenge in the school and probably elsewhere?
You see, this is one of the things that I would love the students to demonstrate. This is one of the things that I would want the students to boycott classes and make a lot of noise. That will catch the attention of the relevant authorities. In fact, I would even support the students to block roads to ensure that this issue is addressed. These are the kind of things that students need to stand up and speak out, because I think that the head is afraid of what he will go through when he speaks to the media. So I think at this time, the onus lies on the students to make the needed noise for all of us to hear. So I'll call on the students to hit the streets and do all that they can do to ensure that a lot of attention is brought to their challenge and their challenge is addressed. They can march to the district office or municipal office. They can march to the MP's office. They should do all that they can do in the short term. Within this week, they should do all that they can do so that their challenges are addressed. I also believe that the head should also maybe speak to the relevant authorities if they have not been informed, and as early as possible, they should find ways and means to address the water challenge in the school. Then in the long term, you see the ministry or the minister and the relevant people also coming in to assist. But immediately, I call on the students of this particular school, technical institute, to hit on the street, demonstrate, visit the municipal office or district office, and ensure that the DC or the MCE there listens to them and address their challenge as soon as possible.
Right, Doc, thank you for talking to us. Dr. Peter Pate, Anti-Exec Director of the Institute for Education Studies.
Let's stay a while longer on infrastructure-related concerns, because after years of repeated complaints and reports over its deteriorated condition, rehabilitation works have finally begun on the Afienya New Jerusalem-Apollonia Road. And the project is being undertaken under the government's Big Push infrastructure program, which prioritizes the reconstruction of key road networks across the country. And Samuel Yabo Adams has more in this report.
one of our neighbors died because he had pressure. And the nature of the road, before they got to the hospital, even to the junction, he passed away.
When you come and open shop, nobody will come in, but because the road is not good, people are not coming to site. We are not animals, we are also human beings. At least think of us small.
That was a TV3 News report 3 years ago, where residents along the Afienya New Jerusalem Apollonia stretch raised concerns over the worsening condition of the road. Today, construction works are underway, with rehabilitation now in progress. According to the head of the Afienya New Jerusalem Resident Association, Daniel Asante, they have waited for so long to witness this development.
Waited forever, if I have to say. And the state of the road was terrible, very bad. So we were very happy as a community when we were picked under the big push and this road was going to be done.
For him, the 16.8-kilometer road project, now under the government Big Push initiative, is essential.
This is a very important link because from Afienya, this road links to Apollonia Township, then it connects to Ibi, Ashaman, Adenta, Madina, Eburi. So if someone is traveling from Hohwe, instead of going through the Temamoto way, has to come branch here and then link up to Madina, and he's good to go. So in fact, it's a very important link.
For some residents and business owners, the construction work is impacting their business positively.
You could see potholes, and the potholes were very, very big. And most of the times when the cars are moving, you could see like the dust and everything. You couldn't sit, and we couldn't sell too. We wish that they will continue and come and put the bitumen and the gravel so that businesses will move on.
So now the contractor is starting to make the road. Every business is moving. We can get load from here to Medina, Labad, every place they fit the go. It be simple short to this place, to every place.
The drivers who once plied the route say they have seen some improvement. However, the construction works comes with its challenges.
First, every week we are a shop.
At first, we always take our cars to the workshop. Now, it is not like that again. Initially, small cars couldn't use the road, but since the contractor started working, close to 5 months now, it has become more trouble for all vehicles. Our only problem is the dust, and we appeal to him that he should always make sure it's watered down for us. As residents watch closely, they are now placing expectations on the authorities and contractors to ensure the project is completed within schedule, to standard, and with minimal or no disruption after years of enduring poor road conditions. Samuel Yabua Adams, TV3 News, Afienya.
And the Ghana Navy has successfully rescued 7 suspected stowaways from the rudder trunk of a Belgian-registered crude oil tanker, MT Cap Felix, following a distress call received through the Maritime Operations Centers. Preliminary investigations indicate that the men illegally boarded the tanker at an anchorage in La Côte d'Ivoire, believing that they would be transported to Europe.
The 7 suspects are believed to be from the Ghanaian community in La Côte d'Ivoire, who reportedly boarded the vessel MT Cap Felix, hoping to be transported to Europe. They have since been handed over to the Ghana Immigration Service, the Ghana Marine Police, and the Ghana Port and Harbours Authority for further investigations. According to the flag officer commanding the Eastern Naval Command, Commodore Solomon Dulabi, the distress call came from a Belgian flag crude oil vessel with a gross tonnage of about 82,000 tons.
The Maritime Rescue Coordination Center at Abidjan. On Wednesday, 13th May 2026, the Ghana Navy, through its Maritime Operations Centers, received a distress call from the crude oil tanker MT Cap Felix, a Belgian flagged vessel with gross tonnage of about 82,000 tons with IMO number 9380738, whose last port of call was Abidjan, Côte d'Ivoire. The vessel reported the presence of suspected stowaways in its rudder trunk and requested immediate assistance while operating about 200 nautical miles south of Tema Harbor. In response, the Ghanaian Navy ship Achimota was tasked to investigate and offer the necessary assistance.
The naval vessel GNS Achimota, under the command of Commander Ishmael Kofi Kwanzaa, departed Tema Harbor at approximately 1900 hours and carried out the rescue operation successfully. Deputy Command Operations Officer of the East Naval Command, Lieutenant Commander Dorothy Ose Anasu, explained how the operation unfolded.
We received a distress call through our Maritime Operations Center of a ship which suspected that there were stowaways on board. So quickly we dispatched our ship, Ghana Navy ship Achimota, to go to their aid. They went and they've been able to rescue 7 stowaways, and they've brought them safely to harbor.
The Ghana Navy has reaffirmed its commitment to maintaining security within Ghana's maritime domain and the wider Gulf of Guinea, while commending stakeholders for their support in the successful operation. The 7 suspects are currently assisting investigators as authorities continue with further inquiries into the incident.
This is still News360. Let's do some other stories tonight. Now, inside intensive care units, life is fragile, and patients lie between consciousness and unconsciousness, held alive by machines, while nurses move quickly through decisions that determine who gets another chance at life. For Alberta, that reality is not something she watched from afar. 8 years ago, she was critically ill, admitted into ICU care, and placed on dialysis. Today, she's alive, healed, married, and a mother. Christabel Sasa-Streve reports.
She remembers fragments, moments of awareness, moments of darkness, and long gaps she still cannot explain. At the center of Alberta's survival was dialysis, a treatment that took over when her kidneys could no longer function. Her condition also required intensive care.
I spent over 30 days in the intensive care unit. The moment I think I gained consciousness, I just heard the babe, that ICU, babe, you can never forget about it. It was a life experience. The nurses there and the doctors, I think they are a team. So I think they call them the critical care team. My last dialysis, when we got to the renal units, I couldn't breathe. And the nurses had to run back to the ICU ward to bring back the manual oxygen. We have to look for other plugs to give me oxygen. That was very scary. And as at that time, I even told my husband, I want to give up. But because the doctors and the nurses were, you know, Kolebu have a name. People say this when you come there, when you come here, you die and this. But as for me, I'm an advocate for them. This is about 8 years ago, and I have 2 kids now afterwards, so.
The intensive care unit's ICU is where patients are their most critical. Every heartbeat, every drop in oxygen, and every machine alarm matters. Globally, critical care research shows that survival rates depend heavily on nurse-to-patient ratios and continuous monitoring. But in many health facilities, like the Kolebu Teaching Hospital, demand often outweighs capacity. At the center of that pressure are nurses. I spoke to ICU nurses who described long hours, emotional strain, and constant urgency.
10 years being here, it hasn't been easy. When you get to nurse critically ill patients, being on a ventilator, who require support, sometimes you virtually do everything for the patient. It's not easy. We've been through it, and then we are still giving out our best.
It's not a typical registered general nursing that we do in the ICU. Although it's fun on some days, it's also quite hectic on a lot of days. It's also quite mentally demanding, emotionally demanding, because sometimes you bond with your patients, you're hoping they'll get better. The next thing, they're deteriorating.
We bath them, everything, we feed them, we monitor their hemodynamics. We do the monitoring hourly. So by the time the next hour is up, you are due for the next hour to do the monitoring, all the activities that the patients need. So at the end of your shift, you don't get to rest because you are doing hourly continuous monitoring. Something goes sour and then this patient just starts deteriorating and then you lose the patient. We become traumatic, we cry.
Other nurses I spoke to also describe the challenges that remain. According to them, they work with limited resources while managing more patients than recommended for critical care settings.
You don't even have the equipment because these critically ill patients needs a whole lot of the technology devices to be able to take care of them. Sometimes you really know exactly what you are supposed to do, but sometimes it becomes a challenge. Ideally, we are supposed to have some emergency medications that are supposed to be there. Some of the medication, you can't just walk into the pharmacy to just purchase. They are supposed to be in the ICUs, and most of the times, we don't even have these medications.
And in the middle of it all, nurses work quickly, carefully, and quietly, holding lives together. Across many hospitals, challenges remain.
The first thing is staffing. Our numbers are being moved out of the country, especially the Caribbeans, to help with the care they give out there. So our numbers are going down. It is making the rest of us who are behind at the bedside area, working for 12 hours, the burnout is clear. I mean, you come to the hospital with your food and you go home with your food. Critical care nurses are not being paid well in this country.
Because of the shortage of staffing, ICU nurses, we are short of ICU nurses, and so the work becomes demanding and it falls on just a few available ICU nurses.
Just imagine you go train as a critical care nurse. You are working as a critical care nurse, but you are being paid as a general nurse. If I have better conditions somewhere else, I'll leave.
For people like Alberta, survival did not come quickly. It came slowly through intensive care. Today, her life looks completely different. She also urged the public to dismiss negative perceptions about ICU nurses.
What I realized when I was on my sick bed is you won't find a particular doctor analyzing your situation. They are a team of doctors and team of nurses. So they all come together and work to make you survive.
In the ICU, every second matters. And for those who survive it, life is never quite the same again. Christabel Success Trevor, TV3 News, Hollywood Teaching Hospital.
And the high demand for cattle and other livestock products is forcing traders to source live animals from neighboring countries like Burkina Faso, Niger, Mali, and Nigeria ahead of the Eid Adha celebrations when sales are expected to boom at the Ashaman Tulaku Livestock Market, which is considered the biggest in West Africa. About 30 trucks fully loaded with cattle and other animals arrive daily for butchers and consumers. Christian Yali finds out more about reasons these foreign-bred livestock are dominating the Ghanaian market and how much consumers may pay to purchase them.
So that is how it is. Whenever you arrive here, everyone is a potential buyer. But let's see what it goes, how much is involved, and where they even source these cattle from.
Located about 27 kilometers from Accra, the Tulaku Livestock Market has existed for decades and remains one of Ghana's most important livestock trading hubs. Thousands of cattle, sheep, goats, and other live animals are traded here daily alongside a vibrant abattoir business. But most of these animals are imported from neighboring countries.
All of my cattle, 100% from Nigeria, northern Nigeria, yes.
Why is it that you bring them from Nigeria? Don't we have some in Ghana?
Okay, we have some in Ghana, but you see, sometimes the demand and the type of the meat that the butchers want is what we provide for them. You see, the cows from northern Nigeria, they are low in fat, and their meat is very, very sweet, very, very tender-like.
Curious about the cost involved in transporting the animals into Ghana, I asked him about the price range for a cow.
We used to pay 1,700, 1,800 per cow from Nigeria to here. But if you want to take it like with a trailer, you want to full a trailer, there's a charge for it. So when your cow is 35, you pay 25,000.
If someone comes to buy, how much do you sell a single cow?
A single cow, it depends on your budget. But normally we our cows, it ranges from 15,000, 16,000, 17,000 upwards. Yeah, because we don't bring small cows.
And that is just from one country. Other traders import livestock from Mali, Niger and Burkina Faso. But trader Ayowa Gori tells me cattle from Burkina Faso have not entered this market over 2 years now.
We learned their government did not allow them to bring their animals out from the country. So now our people used to go to Togo, Benin, Niger. Some are even going to Nigeria to get animals and come so that we'll get our daily bread. Ghana animals, I can say their taste is better than these ones, but at least they are not there. When you want to buy something, if it is sugar that you want to buy, which is sweet, and you can't get it, you have to buy your salt.
As a potential buyer, I also asked him to quote prices for comparison.
The car which will bring them from Togo to here, sometimes 12,000, sometimes 11,000, sometimes 10,000. This cow, like this, they are pricing it 17,000. Yeah, but when we do the calculation, it's not getting. Maybe like, we should have sell it like 18,000 or 17,500.
As always, the Eid al-Adha period, popularly known as Salah, comes with increased demand for livestock, forcing traders here to depend even more heavily on foreign supply. In February this year, the Food and Agric Minister Eric Opoku paid a working visit to the market and pledged government support to improve conditions at the facility, including the provision of street lights to improve visibility and security. One major concern, however, remains sanitation and hygiene at the market, an area many believe urgently needs attention. That is partly because since its establishment in the 1960s, the Tulaku market has seen very little infrastructural investment. But beyond these concerns, Ghana's heavy dependence on imported livestock also presents an opportunity for increased local production. At the market, I met Abba Ibrahim, affectionately known as Zongo Minister. For years, he has been raising cattle locally, starting with some of them when they were barely 7 months old. Today, his cattle are even bigger than many of the imported breeds.
It's about feeding and treatment. That is how you treat animals to become big as it is. I'm a Greek student. Most of us, we want government to provide us land, the equipment to rear the animals here. But because we don't get that support, that's why we are struggling.
I'm just curious, so this one like this, if you won't sell, how much you go sell?
At least somebody price is 60,000. But I want at least it should go to 70,000. 2014, 2015, this one was, the cost price was 15,000. But because of the feeding, now the animals are expensive.
An estimated 30 to 40 trucks loaded with cattle arrive at this market every single day. Reports indicate that Ghana imports more than 90% of its livestock need, with the bulk coming from Sahelian countries. But beyond the statistics, business continues to thrive here, especially during the Salah season.
Well, after chasing cows across borders, bargaining, dawn market, I think I've earned myself my honorary cattle trader status. So you don't see me in the newsroom again after Salah, just check the next convoy entering Ghana. I may have found myself a new career. Christian Yale, TV3 News, Tulaku. To, nagode. Nagode.
Well, it is safe to say Christian must bring us some of the Salah meat this coming Eid
Most definitely, most definitely. This is the News360. We're live also on all our social media platforms. At TV3 Ghana, we have more stories for you after this break. Don't go away.
let's do some more stories. Now, artificial intelligence is gradually transforming education in Ghana, with a growing number of schools introducing students to digital tools and emerging technologies. Some institutions in the country have increasingly incorporated artificial intelligence-related studies, research and innovation into their academic programs aimed to equip students to compete globally. Here's a report by Daryl Agbuzu.
Artificial intelligence is rapidly becoming part of everyday life, influencing industries such as healthcare, agriculture, business, media, and education. As countries across the world integrate AI into teaching and learning, educational institutions in Ghana are also beginning to embrace the technology to prepare students for a digital future. The Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology has become the first university in Ghana to introduce a compulsory AI micro-credential course for all students regardless of their field of study.
Artificial intelligence is gradually, it is actually very eminent in every discipline today. And it is shaping the way we do science, the way we do arts, the way we do teaching, the way we do engineering, the way we do business, almost every facet of life. And such practices must start from the classroom, must start from the school. And we must be able to do it ethically and responsibly.
Students have welcomed the introduction of the course, describing it as timely and necessary.
We are living in a technological world whereby everything is being processed by technology. AI is now reducing the pressure of even human activities, whereby we go through hard thinking methods and all those things, and it's very helpful. When you go to developed countries like China, like USA, like Russia, they are teaching their young ones how to be able to even create their own AI machines and how to even work with AI.
I think it's good because it's a fundamental of AI, the basics. And as an individual, I think you have to have the basis of AI because we know that AI is taking the whole world.
The management of the school has done a great job by introducing it because how can you be a university graduate without knowing your way through AI?
Stakeholders in the education sector, however, continue to stress the importance of the responsible and ethical use of artificial intelligence. Professor Asante Appel emphasized that ethical guidelines and academic policies would be enforced to ensure artificial intelligence supports learning rather than undermining academic integrity.
Artificial intelligence can affect negatively, and it can also be very positive depending on how one leverages on it. If you allow the artificial intelligence to control your critical thinking, then you are definitely going to be underutilizing it. And that's why we talk of responsible and ethical use. What we are looking at is training the young people to be able to leverage on the AI and humanize it whilst they apply critical thinking to its resource.
The introduction of the compulsory AI micro-credential course is being viewed by many education stakeholders as a significant step toward modernizing Ghana's education system and preparing students for the demands of a technology-driven world. Daryl Agbuzu, TV3 News, Accra.
And still on education, as examination season returns across various campuses, students are once again finding ways to encourage friends and loved ones through the pressure of academic life. But while today's students rely heavily on WhatsApp messages, Instagram posts and TikTok edits, there was a time when handwritten success wish cards dominated campus culture. Christabel Sassers filed this report.
There was a time on Ghanaian campuses when exam seasons came with colorful envelopes, handwritten messages and carefully selected success wish cards. Today, that culture appears to be fading. For many students, encouragement now comes through screens instead of paper.
So digital sometimes, if you have the means to do that.
And while some students say digital communication feels more convenient and immediate, others admit they have never even heard of success wish cards before.
Success cards? What's that?
Success wish card.
No, I haven't even heard of that before. What is that?
I don't know what it is, but when you're talking about receiving message during examination, I have. My parents send me a text message through WhatsApp, via SMS, sometimes it's through phone calls.
I didn't receive any success cards, but then I received love messages from my parents, my loved ones.
So whenever I'm going to write an exam, the first people that would wish me well is my parents. So before I leave home and go to campus, my parents will be like, all the best, Daryl. If it's a phone call, they call me and be like that. And sometimes your PS at the entrance of the exam will be like, all the best.
Others say, although they know about the tradition, they have never personally received one.
I don't know what it is, and I don't think I've received one before. If I want to wish someone something, I can easily use ChatGPT, give a little description, and then to help me write a message. So I think technology has kind of removed the paper system. So most people just text or video call to wish the person, or make one like a video message to the people, which they can also store properly, more than a paper. So I think that has kind of removed the old system of sending a wish card or success card.
Vendors tell me sales are mostly high during examination periods.
Busiest period as when the students are writing their BC or the WASI.
We normally sell a lot of, a success card, because when you give success card, something like this, they say don't let the exam run circle around you. If you are a parent, you send something like this to your children will be very, very happy, it encourages them.
Some believe social media and instant messaging have not largely replaced handwritten expressions of encouragement, but rather made it simpler.
They don't have enough income, and then secondly, because of this social media, social media like texting, WhatsApp, text messages, they will prefer using that one than buying it.
Still, many students insist the culture of support has not disappeared. It has simply evolved with the times.
Social media is replacing success cards, because if someone wants to wish you, the person can send it through all social media platforms.
Well, during my time or my entire time in school, whenever we are going to write exam, there is tension. We are all scared of what we are even going to write. So success card, I haven't ever heard of it before. Even if it was there, I doubt I would have accepted it, because not my issue.
It came through carefully written cards. For another, it comes through glowing screens and instant notifications. In different ways, both are saying the same thing, that you've got this. Christabel Success, TV3 News, Accra.
You're watching News360. We have sports news after this break. Don't go away.
one. Botswana has come close. Joseph Paul Amoa racks up a place in the final, and he is followed by
Botswana's Lobotlang, Kevin Lobotlang of Botswana. 20.79.
That was fast from Joseph Paul Amoa.
That's the first sub-21 run we've seen at these championships in the 200 meters.
He was fast. He had to be fast. He wants a place in the final. He is a 200 meters athlete beast. Joseph Paul Amoa.
Well, with the lane next to him empty, he had a lot of room to make up the stagger on Botswana in lane 5. But he had full control and yes, dipped at the tape to ensure that nobody was catching him. What a race.
And if I were him...
Victory there for Amoa, and he is looking to replicate same in the final. Let's stay on the 2026 African Senior Athletics Championships. 3 Sports' Bulletin is present at the University of Ghana Sports Stadium and brings us this report on the Day 5 events.
An overall disappointing Day 5 for Team Ghana at the 2026 edition of the Senior African Athletics Championships. Now, there were a lot of hope on Team Ghana to make it all the way to the 200-meter final. There were about 6 athletes in total, 3 women, 3 men who were competing for slots in the 200-meter final. But unfortunately, there was only one person that was from the men's division to actually make it to the final. That is Joseph Paul Amoa. Remember that in the 2023 African Games, Joseph Paul Amoa managed to win gold in the 200 meters at that competition. And this time, he's here in the final. He's made it to the final in hopes of making the podium once again. And he comes to the final in about 20.79 seconds in that heat to make it to that final. And then there would also be an opportunity for Ghana to actually win medals in the 4x400 meter relays for the men and for the women as well tomorrow, which is the final day of the competition. And there will be an opportunity for Joseph Paul Amoa, of course, to make the podium once again. And so all eyes will be on the final day, which is Sunday, here at the University of Ghana Sports Stadium, as Ghana aim to increase their medal tally from 5. Bulletin for 3 Sports from the University of Ghana Stadium.
Many thanks to Bill for the report. Proceeding now to the English FA Cup final. Manchester City beats Chelsea 1-0 at Wembley Stadium. Antoine Semenyo scored a stunning backheel late in the second half to sink the Blues in their unfortunate campaign. Manchester City have now completed the domestic cup double, adding the FA Cup to the Carabao Cup in their trophy cabinet.
His first meaningful attack. Brings real urgency there from Mateus Nunes. Visiting Wembley is a measure of success. Oh, and Haaland will come away with it. Well, alarm bells clanging for Chelsea. Haaland. Bernardo Silva. Haaland. Plenty in support. Oh, that's beautiful from Antoine Semenyo. Well, he's capped a stellar season with a beautiful, impudent cup final goal.
Well, I think a lot of credit to start with has to go to Cherki to get it on the ball, to try and make things happen.
The trophy. A 17th major prize for Pep Guardiola's Manchester City. A second this season. The faces may change, but after a brief pause, the trophies keep coming.
This is what it's all about today.
2026 is Manchester City's year, a 4th successive FA Cup final, and after successive defeats, they can enjoy this. Shocked by Palace a year ago.
Manchester City soaring high there, but their faith remains to be seen in the Premier League. Well, that'll be all for sports here on News 360. I am Aniela Alute.
Entertainment news segment is brought to you by GTP, Lifestyle, and Napa Foods. Heaven Black Insecticide Spray and Coil, powered by 3 Entertainment.
Well, in showbiz tonight, after weeks of unforgettable reality TV moments, the stage is finally set for the grand finale of Perfect Match Extra Season 4 happening tonight. With only 4 couples remaining, Ghana will finally decide which pair will walk away with the ultimate Perfect Match title. The finalists, Desi, Nadia, Tyclev, Coco, Ken Aram, and Papi Prescari are ready for one last showdown. Well, as anticipation builds, fans have been speaking tough ahead of the big finale, passionately backing their favorite couples and making bold predictions about who deserves the crown.
Great. They've won a lot in the competition. We've learned a lot from them. We've learned patience, consistency, and a whole lot, and they deserve the win. They deserve to win. Bakari to the whole we are saying. Bakari now and forever!
Their relationship started with misunderstanding, but at the end of the day, love wins. So there's a connection there. Maturity, understanding, communication, everything there in life. So carry around their connection here, one in town.
Expectations there. Tonight, I know said the win is between Taiko and then there's there. It's between both of us. I'm one Canadian, Abiana. I ran for so I'm better so said, but one my Canadian won't pay being for why. Some crack on one why.
I know the tire no evidence. I got the chin, I got to relate. Hold on, I'm a pop star. You know, I'm a pop star.
The grand finale is happening tonight, right after the bulletin. It starts. You don't want to miss it. Let's now do international.
Nigeria and the United States say they have killed a senior Islamic State IS leader in a joint operation. Abu Bakr al-Minuki was described by U.S. President Donald Trump as the second in command of ISIS globally and the most active terrorist in the world. IS has radically shifted in recent years, with around 90% of its attacks now taking place in sub-Saharan Africa. Its Nigeria-based branch is by far the most active. Nigerian President Bola Tinubu said the two countries had carried out a daring joint operation that dealt a heavy blow on IS. Al-Minuki was declared a specially designated global terrorist by Washington in 2023. He was killed along with several of his lieutenants during a strike on his compound in the Lake Chad Basin. Taiwan has insisted it is a sovereign, independent nation after U.S. President Donald Trump cautioned it against formally declaring independence from China. Trump's remark came after a 2-day summit in Beijing, after which he said he had made no commitment either way about the self-governing island. The U.S. administration is bound by law to provide Taiwan with a means of self-defense, but has frequently had to square this alliance with maintaining a diplomatic relationship with China.
News on our website 3news.com. Please log on for more. I am Noble Crosby Annan.
And I'm Grace Hamwa Ajiman. Thank you for joining us. PM Extra is happening at 8 p.m. Don't miss out. See you.